Well, there's the first mistake. In my video recording, I don't know how to edit and cut clip and all that kind of stuff, so I have no idea how this is going to upload if I try to blend these together. But I just had to stop the recording I was doing because my wife rolled up on me. She usually goes for me on these walks, but she's already got about 16,000 steps in for the day because she had a 5-hour shift where she works at a retail store. So anyway, like I was talking, and you guys, these things will probably get better as I go along, like every YouTube channel. But I don't want to not make it something good. My main goal is we're trying to get just a small coaching service going. I ain't doing none of this to make money. I got a good job. I just am passionate when it comes to certain things. I love to teach and train people. Not just in working out, things like that, but life coaching, trying to help people out, rough times in their life, because I've been through a lot. And I'm a firm believer in you go through things for a reason. Use that to help other people. So this will be kind of a potpourri for a while. There'll be training videos, instruction videos, nutrition videos, and yeah, I know there's a billion of them out there. But I also know that people can kind of get overwhelmed with the amount of information that's out there. To me, if people are more connected to the person that's trying to train or instruct them, and then they share videos and stuff like that with people they know, it kind of keeps it a little more trustworthy. So anyway, get back to what I was talking about. Got out of the 10th grade, and I got a gym membership, my very first gym membership. The name of the gym was Dynamics. And I thought to myself, I don't remember how I was paying for it. I'd gone through multiple different kind of just odd and end jobs. But I got the gym membership. Don't even remember how much it would have been back then. Like I said, it was the late 80s. And went in there and implemented everything that I had learned throughout my sophomore year. So it was like that the rest of the way through high school. That's kind of my backstory of how I got into training and lifting weights and things like that. And now at 53 years old, having been through a hell of a lot in life, and I mean a hell of a lot. 5 kids. This Sunday, June 21st, will be mine and my wife's 23rd wedding anniversary. And I will say this, even though that's not necessarily what this video is about, and a lot of people say this, but my life didn't get good until I met who is now my wife. I was going to say until I met my wife, but she obviously wasn't my wife then. And even though the dating process was a little bit rocky for us, we both had some changing to do. By that time, I was 28, and she was 21 and a half. And anyways, yeah, she's just the best thing that's ever happened. And her and I have been through a lot of stuff. And after we got serious about dating, I started training her at the gym. She's 145 pounds, started getting in good shape. Had her deadlifting 225 pounds, almost right out of the gate. She's a very strong, athletic girl. And we, had gym memberships here and there throughout our marriage. Times would get tight and tough. The economy go bad and things like that. It couldn't really justify paying for a gym membership when we're having kids and raising them and trying to keep them in private school and things like that. So when they started to get a little bit older and we started getting a little bit more financially set, after about, I'd say probably 10, 12 years into our marriage, started investing in gym equipment for myself. and built my own home gym, as well as having a gym membership. Because the one thing about the public gym that I hate, and I'm just gonna say, is people that aren't serious and they waste their time. I don't hate people, but I just can't wrap my brain around the fact that people would look at the gym as nothing more than just a social place instead of going in there and working your ass off. It's probably because of everything I just talked to you and how hard my life was and what lifting weights actually meant to me. For me, it became a huge part of my life, and anytime I couldn't afford it or didn't have time for it or whatever it was in life that was going on that kept me from it, and there were some serious things and situations where it just was out of the cards for a while, I just don't have the understanding of the mentality of people that don't look at the weight room the same way I do. And it took me a lot of years to understand how much it actually meant to me. And I started realizing that when it was out of my life. So, anyways, had a gym membership, as well as started investing in building my own gym. At that time, I wasn't into anything to do with bodybuilding. I was all about strongman and powerlifting and those types of things. But I had already built a good base, was building an even stronger base. And then in 2020, when the world went to complete hell, I decided to enter my first strongman competition, amateur strongman competition. There's a huge gap there, and maybe in future videos I'll be a little bit more concise with some of my backstory, amongst other things. But I decided to do my first strongman show. I had done powerlifting meets prior to getting married. I did 2 deadlifting competitions. Was on a powerlifting team, Vikings powerlifting team. I was one of the original members. The team was already put together. I had a couple of buddies on it, and they just kind of basically said, "You're with us." So that's what I did. But I was strong enough to hang. Just in case anybody's asking, no, didn't use no gear or anything like that. At that time, I had kind of a moral objection to it, not understanding everything about it and government and things like that, right? Again, I'm not going to go down that rabbit trail for right now. But I did pretty good. So fast forward to 2020, I decided to do my first strongman show, coached myself, built my strongman implements, built my own Atlas stones. I had about 6 weeks to prep for this show. And mind you, it's my first one. Had nobody coaching me. Everything I learned from the videos of the professionals that were doing it and kind of figured it out on my own. Never did any form checks because I didn't have no coaches or anything at that time. And I trained my wife in it too. So I entered that show, a little country place, Cass City. The name of the competition kind of escapes me right now. But shout out to Matt. I don't know if he'll ever see this video, but it was on his farm. Big old cement full pour barn. I was in the 220 weight class, which was from under 240. So I ran that line. I was right at 239. So it was good for me. And mind you, again, I wasn't using any gear or anything like that. By gear, I mean steroids. And everybody in that world, 99.9% of them anyways, do. And I was competing against nine other guys in my weight class, and I was literally old enough to be the father of every one of them. No lie. We had the 5 events. I ranked 4th, which for me is pretty damn good. Seeing how I had 6 weeks to prep for the show, built all my own stuff, coached myself. I was pretty proud of myself. And so was my wife and kids, and that's really all that mattered to me. So the next year I was going to do it again. I was also convincing my wife to do it. Well, I tore a tissue in my inner thigh, basically the groin area, and I was out. I wanted to push myself, but at this time I did have a coach and he advised against it. So he continued, he's an online coach. He continued to coach my wife, still ran a program for me. I did what I could, never just completely quit working out. I did what I could. And got her ready, and she did her first and only strongman competition in 2021. Like I said, she's a strong girl. And so we continued in the strongman training for the next couple of years. And never entered another competition though, because in 2023 there was something really bad happened in our life, and the people that are probably going to see this video that know us know what I'm talking about, and I'll talk about that another time, maybe. Again, that's not necessarily what this channel's about, but it kind of is, isn't it? Because life gets in the way of working out, and this is where people kind of bow out and use as an excuse. And I almost did too, till I realized it was the number one thing, besides my faith in God and my family and my church, that helped keep me mentally right, was lifting. I'd gotten way out of shape. I was drinking heavily. And again, for those that know me, you know the situation. For those that might just stumble across this YouTube video, maybe someday I'll let you know, but it was bad. And then I finally got a hold of a guy who was a friend and who had also been a new coach to us. And he started helping me through that time, wrote me a couple of programs. I didn't want to do any thinking about programming. I just wanted something on paper and somebody to tell me what to do. Because at that time, that's what I needed. I needed to focus only on that so that I could take my mind off of what was going on. I needed to do better and stick around for my kids and my wife and the people that cared. So again, lifting and working out became another saving grace in my life. And of course, I don't mean salvation wise, but it just saved me from myself. So the wife and I, January of 2024, actually shortly before Christmas of 2023, decided enough was enough. I stopped drinking flat. It was nothing I was ever addicted to. I used to use it to sleep at night because I've never been a good sleeper. Suffered that my whole childhood. And all the way up until maybe the past couple, 2-3 years, where I've learned some good techniques and vitamins and things like that, melatonin, other things that help me with that. I have a complete regimen I do every night now. But anyway, working out again, like I was talking about, became it just became the thing that pulled me out of the dark spot that I was in and gave me purpose. And then anytime people would want advice, they'd see my body transforming again. And the wife and I have been through that so many times, you know. Again, life gets in the way. If you stop working out, the older you get, you start getting out of shape again and putting the weight back on and all that terrible stuff. So we got in really good shape. I stripped off about 40 pounds. The wife pretty close to the same. And by the end of 2024, we were sitting pretty healthy. And then beginning of 2025, the holidays are now extremely rough time for us. From October through the first of the year is an extremely difficult time for us. It is getting better in the sense that we know it's coming and we know how to prepare. So we kind of let things slide again. And right around March 2025, I hired another coach. Notice a theme here. Even though I know what I'm doing in the gym, I've been doing it since I was a teenager. I know the programs, I know the movements, I know the opinions, I know all the sides of the argument. I'm not saying I know everything. Clearly, nobody knows everything, right? But I'm the kind of guy that does the research. And if there's something that I love, you can ask anybody that knows me. I'm gonna rip into the research as much as I possibly can and find out everything I want to know. You know, the three things that I've spent the most time doing that are politics, theology, and anything to do with lifting. So 2025 spring, we would put a few pounds back on, or 2024, put a few pounds back on, got a new coach, got us through the end of the year. I got sidetracked because I started talking about coaches. That'd be another thing that you guys will pick up on, is it's easy for me to get sidetracked or go down a rabbit hole. Beginning of 2025, because of just getting through the holidays, we kind of let things slide again. We're still going to the gym, but got lazy. And yeah, that's possible, where you kind of lose your motive and your drive. But if you love the gym enough, or it's a part of you enough, you know you at least have to be there and give some kind of effort. You know, sometimes it's like a marriage. You don't always like each other, but you always love each other. And you don't leave each other. And you work through the issues that you have, realizing one another might need a little bit of time or whatever it is. For me, it's kind of the same thing with lifting. I like analogies, and to me, it's a perfect analogy. You know, having a relationship with the gym might sound kind of corny, but if you had the mindset and been through the things I'd been through and realized that it was something that just became a part of me, like to literally tear lifting away from me would be tearing a huge chunk of my heart out. And I know not everybody's like that, and I wouldn't expect everybody to be like that, but I would suggest that you try to have a relationship with working out like that. And when I mean working out, I mean lifting weights. You know, a lot of people have this misconception that, especially women, if I lift, I'm going to get too big, I'm going to get too bulky. Only if you want to. Only if you want to. It's not like you're lifting, everything's normal, fine, you're happy, and then one morning you wake up and you look like Arnold Schwarzenegger did in the 80s. It's not how it works. All right? You're only going to get big, not just from working out, but from eating more food. And you're only going to get as big as you want to because you're looking at yourself in the mirror every single day. All right? So, and no, women do not need to work out differently than men. My wife does the exact same movements I do. Bench press, squat, curling, deadlifting, lat pull downs, all the different things. Okay? We both have bodies, we have bones, we have muscles. They all work the same. It's just one has a little bit more strength than the other, and you build strength relative to what you're trying to do and what you're capable of at that point in time. with the mindset of always trying to progress. And if you fall in love with the gym, with lifting, you're going to want to continually do better. And that's why I think it's for everybody. You know, there's a mindset out there, what good is working out? You're just trying to show off. I don't need that. And that's just bullshit. Because there's so many benefits for every age. I mean, you watch any social media, Instagram, Facebook, they're littered with 85-year-old women deadlifting weight that most modern men can't. Like, I could probably name off, if I had to, I could name off 20 guys right now in my circle of who I know. I could do more, I'm sure, if I really thought about it. And I'm not trying to be insulting, it's just because most men don't train like they should, or at all, that these older women that have coaches and run through programs and stay consistent and eat properly can deadlift, bench press, squat more than they can. And that is shameful for the men. Okay? I'm just going to be blunt. If a 70-year-old woman can pick up more weight off the floor than you, that's a problem. And you need to fix it. Yes, you can tell me, well, we don't live in the old days and we don't have those kind of problems and we don't have to carry our family across the prairie and whatever else you want to say. I know I'm being a little bit facetious and silly, but how do you know you're never going to have a situation where you have to carry your wife out of a building? Or you have to do something in a certain situation that calls for strength. God gave you strength for a reason. He gave you the ability to gain more strength. And that goes for ladies too. This isn't just a men's game, okay? You know, for all the Christian women, you know Proverbs 31 talks about even her arms. That's talking about that's strength. All right? Kind of get out of this mindset that women are just porcelain dolls that are meant to stay home and make sandwiches all the time. And I'm not slamming women that decide to stay home and raise their kids. My wife did that for the longest time until we decided it was time and it was okay for her to go get a job, which made her feel good again. Not that she wasn't fulfilled, but she just wanted to. But it's for women too. If anything, I would highly suggest strongly it's more so for women, because they can really suffer more as they get older with osteoporosis, and I know I'm saying these words wrong, but I'm walking too. Just all the different things that they have to go through. And believe it or not, ladies, perimenopause and menopause, as awful as those are, HRT and lifting weights helps. There's too much research out there now to say that it doesn't, okay? So you get to where me and my wife are today. And again, I know I'm doing a lot of rambling, but I'm kind of going through my brain of how I'm going to do these things, because I go on walks every day, and I think I'll probably try and record the walk every day. We'll see. But me and my wife today have been working out consistently together. We are each other's training partner, and she's a beast. She pushes me. I look over and see her curling 30-pounders sometimes, and I got a lot of injuries in my elbows, but I can't have that. I can't have her doing more than me, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm proud of the fact that she's as strong as she is. And we've decided to kind of move away from trying to be as strong as we can for competitions and be strong as we can relatively to stay healthy. We still want to move as much weight we can, but we're matching it with what we're trying to accomplish in life. And be wise and smart at the same time, because a lot of people say age is just a number. And yeah, It's true, I get it, but the more miles on a vehicle, the more wore down it gets. And yes, TRT, HRT, and the lifting and all that stuff is a huge help and could prolong our lifespan and give us healthier lives for the time that God's given us, right? But that doesn't mean that the bones and the joints and the tendons don't have a lot of miles on them, okay? I know you can take my favorite car, a 1967 Chevelle, strip it down to bare metal, fix the metal, put all brand new parts and everything on it. But you can't necessarily do that with the human body, right? So we need to do the best that we can with what we got. Make it stay healthy, make it stay strong, because you're going to be happier. There's so many things that lifting help with, from the mental, the emotional, yeah, the spiritual too, to be honest with you. Because the discipline that's involved will run over into other areas of your life. And you'll start getting disciplined on those things too. And there's a lot in my life that I'm realizing that I need to have more discipline in. And training the way we're training currently is really helping that. What I mean by that is my wife and I have decided to do a bodybuilding show next year. Now, anybody that knows me knows just how much I used to pick on bodybuilding. Just oiled up dudes standing in their bikinis on stage, can't do nothing with those muscles. Well, the wife and I decided to start following bodybuilding about 2 years ago. And like I said, when I research things, I dig right into it. Started following YouTube channels, getting to know the competitors, getting to know what it was all about, what went into bodybuilding. And I can tell you this, I've done powerlifting, I've done Highland Games. I'm not at any super high level. I've done the strongman. Bodybuilding is probably, as far as mentally, the toughest sport that there is, or at least really high up there. It's the toughest thing I've ever done. To me, it's going to be the toughest thing mentally in the world of strength sports. Powerlifting, strongman, all those things. Because yeah, all those other things require you to lift heavy weight and you really beat up your body. But you really beat up your body in bodybuilding too, if you're not smart. But the part that's hard about it is the prepping for a show, the watching everything that you eat, down to measuring how much ketchup you put on food at certain phases. And then getting to that last 2-3 weeks before a show where you have to get your body fat down as a man around 4 to 5%. And what this is teaching me is, although I'm probably in the best shape I've ever been in my life, and I've been through the keto diet where I stripped a bunch of weight off, but I looked anemic and sick because I wasn't working out hard. And I wasn't properly fueling my body either with carbs the way that you should. So I've been through the keto, the carnivore, been through all that stuff, you know, and to each their own. But what it comes down to is a consistent diet with all the macronutrients that were created for our bodies. Yes, I know there's some nuance to this with certain people that have allergies and things, and I'm not going to get into that. But bodybuilding is teaching me that it's hard. And I've been on a cut since mid-March. I was back up to about bumping 240. I think the scale even hit 240 again. Even though last year I was back down to 217. It got back up to 240 right around February of this year. So I realized things were getting out of hand again, but I kept lying to myself. So, well, you still look pretty good. You're consistent in the gym, but it's the damn eating. It's the handful of stuff here. Small bowl of that there. All the stuff that you don't record and think about, that all adds up. You know, like I did a video a little while ago on Instagram and showed everybody that 9 corn chips was over 100 calories. And I believe it was about 70 of those calories were from fat. 11 corn chips. And who doesn't like corn chips, right? And then I put it right next to 1 cup of Oikos strawberry flavored fat-free yogurt, granola, frozen fruit, and a little bit of honey, which has become mine and my wife's favorite dessert. And it had the same calories. You tell me which one's healthier and which one's going to fill you more. You see, and that's what I really started learning, because bodybuilding, you have to be so strict and precise. Strongman, a little bit, but not so much. The bigger you are, the stronger you are, right? And I thought I was in pretty decent shape. Even got our body fat percentage down to, I think, in October of 2025, I'm pretty sure it was at 19%. Went and got the DECA scan done, which I thought was really good, sitting at 230 pounds at 19% body fat. But, and I've been posting videos and pictures and things like that of my progress. I'm currently still probably at 15%. And now I'm getting into the tough part. I'm 202 pounds exactly this morning. And I talked to my coach this morning. He said we should push it for another 4 to 5 weeks. My goal is to get down. Now, weight isn't the number one thing, but it is a good marker to see that you're making progress, as well as looking at your body composition. But I want to get down to about 190 by the end of July. So what we're doing is we're using this year as sort of a mock prep for a competition to show us how difficult it's going to be. And I'm not even going to strip all the way down like I'll have to strip down body fat like I would have to for next year. I want to hit a 9% body fat, single digit. I don't even know the last time in my life. It's probably a teenager in high school, the last time I was like something like that. And I don't even know then. But I want to see just how difficult it's going to get, how much more difficult. Because when I hit the 9%, I'll realize I got another 5% to go when I do a competition next year. And that's going to be difficult. And I've been going through the, do you really want to do this? Do you really want to suffer? What are you doing this for kind of stuff? And there's probably other people that are asking the same thing, why I'm doing it. I ain't going to win a bunch of competitions. I mean, I'm going to try. But I'm entering the Masters division of bodybuilding, amateur. I told my coach, I still want to be as big and jacked as I can possibly be for a guy at my age while still being healthy, still looking good, and be able to present a good physique on stage. And my goal is to just do this once, maybe twice a year. So it would be one competition basically every 6 months for the rest of my wife's life. Because I'm the type of person that has to have a goal, you know, and I would probably imagine that everybody's the same way. When it comes to lifting or anything really, if I don't have a goal, I'm just lost. And you know, if you remember at the beginning of this video, I talked just about how scattered my brain can get, how it is. I was talking about if my wife asks me, what are you thinking about? By the time she gets that question done, I've already moved on 100 miles in my brain, which is frustrating for her. You know, it's kind of like, you ever spin a Rolodex as hard as you could, and then all of a sudden stop it? That's kind of like it is when my wife asks me what's going on, what are you thinking about? I have to stop the Rolodex and see where it lands. But anyway, I got to have a goal. And my goal is for my wife and I to stay healthy, to stay as strong as we can, to inspire other people to be able to do the same, because there's a lot of satisfaction and fulfillment looking in the mirror and realizing you've done it and you're going to continue to do it, and that you actually love it, even in the times where you don't think you do. You know, I want my wife and I to be able to do 1 or 2 competitions a year. We can travel the country, pick shows, and do this together. You know, all of our kids are old enough to basically take care of themselves, except for our youngest, who's 15. By the time we do a show next year, she'll be 16. And it's just going to be something I'm looking forward to. You know, and I got this thought going across my head about, you know, young parents with kids, little kids. You know, it's not a reason to not make it to the gym. We're training our niece right now, and she has 2 little kids. But she and her mom, Jerry and Kayla, shout out, are consistently in their gym making progress. And it's great to see them messaging us through Instagram. You can message at Silverback Strong, Silver_back_strong, if you're interested in coaching. And them sending the videos, asking for form checks, being inspired and happy about the progress and setting PRs in the gym. To me and my wife both, it's amazing. To me especially, because this has been a part of my life since I was a little kid. And like I said, even though I wasn't able to lift as a little kid, I wanted to the moment I found out there was such a thing as working out and getting big. And to you parents, to single people, guys, ladies that work 10 hours a day, you can do it, because I've done it. I've had the kids being young, I've worked the 10, 12-hour shifts, and I had my home gym, but had a gym membership at the same time, and still made time at least 2 to 3 times a week during those years to get in the gym. My nutrition wasn't the greatest, but I was in the gym building a base, staying strong, well into my 40s, and now I'm 53. But like I said, it's not too late. You know, you can start now. I'm helping a co-worker at work. Shout out to Megan. Went to her Planet Fitness down there and showed her how to use all the equipment for the program that I created for her. Started a little Telegram chat group with her, my wife, and myself, so she can post her progress, ask questions, different things like that. And that's what we'll do for everybody. Like I said, I'm not into this for the money. I got a good job. I want to coach people because I love to do it, and I love to see people make progress. Why am I charging a fee from here on out? Because the majority of people don't value what they don't pay for. And if you're paying for something, and my wife and I have experienced this ourselves, when we're paying for a coach, we're going to make damn sure we're being consistent and following what he's telling us to do, because then it's just a waste of money, right? But our prices are going to be extremely reasonable. I can't expect people to be encouraged to get into the gym and have to purchase a gym membership, and at the same time charge them a friggin' arm and a leg to do stuff that if they took the time they could learn how to do off the internet. But people won't take that kind of time. I know they won't. The majority of people will not. What they will do is pay for somebody to do all that legwork for them, to create a sheet that says, do this on this day for this long, eat this. And do it week after week, month after month, year after year, and look at the progress. So the main point of this video is to kind of get me used to doing it. I've never recorded myself walking and talking, but I love walking. Yeah, I love talking. And I love teaching people. So we'll see how this goes. Maybe in 10 years, we've helped hundreds of people. Maybe I'll have a successful YouTube channel. By successful, I mean people are watching it, getting information off of it. Again, yeah, I'm not trying to make money off anything. If I can make money off YouTube, I'm just going to invest it into the future of my kids. Right? That's all I want to do. You know, I believe in the mindset that you never stop being a parent to your kids just because they get married and move out of the house. I know what it's like to have to struggle. And if I can prevent my kids from having to struggle the way me and my wife did, you better damn well believe I'm going to do it. Because when the kids get their own lives, you realize then more of your life becomes being involved in theirs and watching them progress in life. And then you just become a fulfilled human being, you know? So anyway, I guess that's it for now. I'll be home here a little bit, finishing my walk. And maybe I'll see you on the next one.